Hi, and welcome to art class. We are going to do our official first project. Um, the assignment that you did last week, where you had to take a picture and send it to me, is due. So make sure you did take a drawing that you did, snap a photo of it on the iPad, and send it to me through Google Classroom. It is worth points. So if you don't turn it in, it is going to cause you to lose some points. Today we're going to be working with graffiti lettering, and so we're going to do some practice today. It's important that we practice because this is not lettering that most people are used to doing. The practice sheet is worth points, so what you're going to do at the end of practicing this, you will take two snapshots, one on the front, one on the back, because we're going to do two different things, and we are going to just show me the practice that you actually did the work, because that is what you would do in class. All right, so you will be able to see this sheet right here. I will give you this file, and it is in Google Classroom. You should see it in there already. You need a regular piece of paper. Mine is 8.5 by 11, which is just printer paper. That's a good size, and you need a pencil. A ruler might be handy, just for some line work, and then eraser would probably be good too. All right, so this is, you don't need to draw or do anything with it. This is just a reference for lettering. So first thing is, this is going to be a name tag. And so with a name tag, it needs to obviously be a name. Specifically, I would like it to be your name, your first name or your last name. You pick which one. If your name is Gabriella and you want to go by Gabby, that would be fine. It is a little bit shorter, and that works. Because if your name is really long, it is kind of hard. Like if your name was Bartholomew, you might want to go by Bart. It would fit better on the page. So the name I'm going to do today is just Matthew. So I'll write that at the top here, just regular letters. That way, know how to spell it. Yes, I know it seems overly easy, but you would not believe how many students have spelled their own name wrong when doing this assignment. So this is a good way to visually see if you've missed a letter just by accident. Right? And then you're going to pick just the letters. It could be your first name and last name. And you're just going to practice them. There's a couple ways to do the letters. The way that people want to try out first is to draw them out. So they're kind of like block letters. So let's say I wanted to do the M. Some people can really just go in and draw them out just like that. That is great. If you can just draw out your letters doing this, that's awesome. But not everybody's familiar with doing these letters in block letters. So there is an easier way. I'll show you one way that works for most letters. Let's do like an I. No, better yet, we'll do a T, because I have a T in this name here. So a T is over here on my sheet. And if I look at it, I could break it down into two pieces. So if I wanted to do a T, I could just break it into two pieces that are easier to manage to make. And then what I do is I go in and erase the overlap. Like so. Pretty easy. Okay? So that's two different ways. You could just draw it out. You can overlap and break it down, the pieces. Or here's another way. If you've ever had to learn how to do block letters, a lot of teachers, including myself, will tell somebody, draw the stick letter first. So let's pick a harder letter like W. This curves could be a problem for somebody. Oh, or we could do the E. The E really screws people up. So let's do the E. So in this case, I would make a stick version of the E first. So that's a stick version of this letter. Then I go and trace it. But I'm not going to touch the letter ever. I'm just going around it. like that. So it's like a letter inside a letter. Then I can go in and erase the stick version. Like that. The stick version is really handy, especially when you're doing a quick, trying to figure out sizing. It's better than having to take the time to draw all this out nice and neat. If you lightly sketch in the stick version, you can get a rough size of everything. And that is what I'm going to have us do on the back side. So the first side is just practicing the letters that you need. So in here, I would need an A. So like maybe I'll do another stick version like that, and then I can trace around it. And it's okay if you modify the letter a little bit to make it a little bit more your own. That is fine, because we're going to add some flair to our letters later on. So some things that you're going to need to add to them. Okay. So on the front side, just practice the letters that you need. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. And I would like you to practice them kind of big, as you see I'm doing here. If they overlap a little bit, that's okay. So if you're like you were doing a W and it went on top, I'm not going to care, because this is a practice sheet. I am going to record the points of this assignment. So this is going to be worth 10 points. But it's more of you just showing me that you're putting the effort in to learn how to do this stuff. All right, so that's the first part. Second part, you're gonna flip your paper over. What you're gonna do is you're gonna use your hand and right down the middle of the paper. On this side here, I'm gonna do 2 marks. I'm gonna move my hand down to this side, 2 marks. And this is where the ruler kind of comes in handy. It's going to just draw a line connecting them. And a straight edge would do the same thing, so it doesn't have to be a ruler. I'm not actually measuring anything. So what I'm doing here is I'm spacing. This is how big the name has to be, okay? When we do the final version, I will actually have some sizes for you to make sure it is the correct size. Next. What I need you to do is you're going to write out the name in regular right up here. So again, let's say the name is Matthew. I'm going to do 2 names here. I'm going to show you 2 things that you need to know. Matthew has 7 letters in it. And let's do Andrew for the second name. Andrew has 6 letters in it. Why does this matter? Well, with a 7-letter name, or any name that has an odd number, and 7 is an odd number, it's a little bit easier to figure out where the exact middle of the name is. In this case, the exact middle will be this middle T. There's 3 letters here, and there's 3 letters here, and then there's a single letter right in the middle. In this case, when we're talking about Andrew, he's got 6 letters, so there's no actual middle letter. The middle part is right here between the D and the R. So what I'll do is I'll just take both the D and the R as the middle. And then that way there's an easy number, an even number on both sides. And this is how it works. So I'm going to draw it twice so that you can see it. So I'll do the Matthew first and then the Andrew. And I'm just going to do a quick sketch. I'm going to get it laid out. I'm not doing a final version, so this is just going to be real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do the middle letter first. So in the first one here, it'll be Matthew, and I'm going to do the T. And like I said before, what's really nice about stick versions is I can lay out about how big everything is. So there's my stick version. If I want, I can go in right now and then start to sketch in the thickness part, and you want it to be about as thick as your finger. And then I can do the H, so I can sketch in the H. And now this is in the back here, we're practicing how to overlap the letters, because graffiti letters have a lot of overlap. So again, I'm going to just quickly sketch in. And it's okay if you go a little bit above your lines or below your lines. You just don't want to be short. You don't want to end up in the space. The E. Okay. And then I'm going to squeeze in the W here. If it goes just a smidge off the page, just a little bit, that is okay. But we don't want half a letter missing. That would not look good. So that'll have to work on your sizing of letters. That's why you got to be careful with how big your name is. You get the idea. So I have the middle letter, and then we have this letter, and then I would work backwards this way. So I'm going to work with a T. And notice all my letters overlap the letter that's next to it. That is a theme that is really important to do in graffiti lettering. Like that. And then I go back in and I can erase. For Andrew, that's just a slight bit different. So again, I would mark it. Again, this is just a practice sheet, so it doesn't have to super be pretty. And then use my ruler to straighten the lines. Like so. All right, for Andrew. Andrew had, let's put it back up here, 6 letters, and the D and the R in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the paper. This is also kind of handy. Just put a little pinch right there where the middle is. And that way I know the D has to go just a little bit past the fold. Actually, his D is actually like down like here and then over. There we go. The R then comes back a little bit. See that they overlap the middle. Let's see, I want that R to go. Actually, that should just go right over top the D there. And there's a hole down. And I just go in, erase where the overlaps are. R coming through the hole of the D here. And then I would continue on with the E right here. And then the W. Okay. And that's where I need us to be, is to work on practicing that. So you're going to practice, I want to see your whole name practiced out. If you want to add a little bit of flair, that you can do that as well. So what I consider flair would be, I'm going to go back to the one that has a few more letters done here. Maybe you want the H to become kind of an underline. So you might make the bottom of the H sweep out because it's already curving this way, and make it kind of an underline. And then since the H curves this way, I can actually make this come up. Let's see if I can make it a little bit more natural here. Like that. Practice a little bit of the flare. Now it looks like it does a line at the top. Some people will have like an M. The M naturally, if you look at it here, has a little sweep. So it would be like here, and it could sweep the whole name as an underline that way. That is one way you can do it. Another way is to add some kind of shape or something to the end of a letter. What I mean by the end of the letter is, see how the T here keeps going? Well, I could easily add in an arrow tip that makes sense to the top of the T, and I could even add it into the bottom of the T. So now the H and the T overlap even more. Now, it would probably be overkill if I put arrows on the edges of the T going this way and this way. So I could go this way with the arrows, or I could go this way, one on this end and one on this end. I've had people put little other shapes in there. You can hop online and take a look. Graffiti art kind of goes a wide gambit of different things. Give it a whirl, and I just want you to practice doing the letters. Remember, the front side is just practice individually. The back side is actually laying it out how it needs to go, making sure you're getting it centered in the middle. Okay. Then again, that tip is folding it in half, giving it a little pinch so that you can find the middle exactly. Alrighty, if you have questions, go ahead and email me or message me in the assignments area. You can even request a video chat if you need that. All right, remember, you're gonna take a picture of this side and this side, so you need 2 pictures, and then you're gonna send me as your assignment for this week, this stuff. So make sure you do that.